What's up, guys? How's everyone doing? Happy Easter to everybody who celebrates it, wherever you are in the world. I say welcome. It has been a chaotic weekend, both personally and in boxing. All things are good. We got the MVP card just wrapped up a couple minutes ago, and then we got the Zufa card starting shortly. So I'm gonna stay on for about an hour. I'm gonna go over because I wasn't able to go live yesterday, which was my Easter Sunday in Australia, and I wasn't able to go live Saturday, just because on holiday. So we have a lot to talk about. I'm gonna cover our bets. We need Eric Aritson Garcia that'll give us 4 tickets, and then I also have the Zufa parlay, which is live. So for all the new JSB insiders on YouTube, I say welcome. I see Points Vision right here just became our newest JSB insider. To get all my bets, picks, parlays on YouTube, go to the members posts section. You'll find them there. To all the Patreon members, you guys know where they are. They're in the members only section as well. Give me 1 second. I'm going to put the link up. It is Monday, April 6th at 7:48 a.m. here in Sydney, Australia. If you guys haven't joined yet, we're approaching 500 Johnny Says Boxing VIPs. It's a couple bucks a month. You get more access on the YouTube channel. You get more access to myself on social media. More importantly, you get all my picks, parlays, bets. You get higher visibility on these live streams. The Patreon boys get member-only live streams. But more importantly, you get access to our world-famous JSB professional betting Discord. Who's going to be the 500th member? Click that link right there. It's a couple bucks a month. We're going to get into this wherever you are. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you're hanging around the people who love you and love them back, because we know how life is extremely short. And my favorite quote, which you guys know, is life is play. Let's look at this. All right, guys. We're going to talk about... Let's get into this first. So I'm going to go over everything real quick. That Deontay Wilder fight, let me get this off the screen. Okay. We know that. Guys, you knew all week. I told you the Wilder Chisora fight. I wasn't too heavily invested in that fight. I didn't break it down on the Stats Zone Live video. Obviously, I had a parlay, a half-unit double with Chisora. He lost a split decision. It is what it is. You guys knew going into it what to expect. Whether you pick Chisora, whether you pick Wilder, it was far from boxing at its best. The fight that I had a lot of investment in was the Denzel Bentley fight. Denzel Bentley versus Endry Saavedra. I know a lot of people were high on Endry Saavedra. I wasn't. And we got Bentley on the money line, and we took Bentley by knockout. Both of those hit. We hit our UK double. Our UK double was Vidal Riley on the money line, and Denzel Bentley on the money line. That hit. Our prop of the week hit with Renee Santiago on points. Our long parlay just came through. So this just hit. This was our 10-legger long parlay. It just came through with Caroline coming through for us and all the ladies. And I talk about this all the time. The ladies we picked were Chantel, Ellie, and Caroline. What I'm about to say is true here. Sometimes being successful at betting on boxing is knowing how to navigate which fights to bet on, which fights to avoid. I told you guys all week there were going to be upsets on that MVP card. I gave you my dog of the week. I told you guys to look into it. Irma Garcia beat Emma Dolan. I talked about it all week. I didn't make a fair play on it, just to be honest with you. I didn't jump on it. But if you were tuning into my live streams, I know a lot of boys on my channel bet Irma Garcia. I did have a parlay. It was a long sharp parlay with Dolan on it. It was a half-unit parlay. I think it was plus 3,000. But it just goes to show you why there's a benefit in watching my daily live streams. You guys get to ask me, and I get to tell you. You know what I'm saying? It's not always about just seeing at the end of the week because you pay the $5. Let me see what Johnny's picks are and tail. That's not how we do this. And if you're doing that, I appreciate your support, but you're pretty much just donating. So if you guys are just paying the fee, supporting me, I say thank you. It means a lot. You guys are helping me do this full time. But if you're not doing research and you're not listening, I give you over an hour and a half every day. Every day. If you're not listening, then you're not really taking full value of your membership. To take full value, tune into the lives, ask me questions. Irma Garcia at plus 420 was a complete disrespect. Complete. And I'm glad that the boys on my chat listen to me, because look what we have here. Okay, we do need one. When Erickson Garcia wins tonight, that'll be our 4th or 5th ticket just this week. We took Pat Brown by knockout, Sammy Goodman on points. This is our triple, and we need Garcia on the money line. We'll get to all this. We'll get the Australian card. So yeah, this is the one. Adu, listen to me. So Adu, and he told you that was going to be the upset, Status Jack. So shout out to Status Jack and shout out to Adu. They were obviously listening to the live streams all week. Guys, just because I don't play action, there were so many fights this weekend, so many cards. I can't play. I don't like playing over. Like I think I played 8 tickets. 8 tickets is a freaking lot. It's a lot of homework I have to do. You know what I mean? I could have easily done 20 tickets, but I have my own boundaries. So just because I don't play a move or you don't see the ticket doesn't mean I don't have an opinion. And I told Nick from Breaking Bad, he told that Irma Garcia probably was going to win that fight. I told Tommy Randone from Tommy and Paulie's, he knows that. And guys, it's the pattern. When Julius was on our chat, I had Julius, one of our sharp inside bettors. It all comes. It's not me coming down to like, oh, Johnny, no, Irma Garcia. No, it's we see patterns. We have a year of data. We have a year of watching these patterns of Mexican, Latin, call it what you will, Latin American fighters, Mexican fighters, Mexican American fighters coming to the UK and putting it on these British fighters. I don't know if it's because the British fighters don't have sparring partners who have that Mexican style. I don't know if they don't know how to adapt with that volume, but it is what it is. And we see it time and time again. And moving forward, when you guys are looking at the beginning of your betting week and you guys are looking where to put your money, have a keen eye, start understanding where these fighters are from, start learning about what it means to be a Mexican fighter versus a British fighter, or what it means to be a storied amateur with under 10 pro fights as a favorite fighting against a true veteran with over. So there's patterns. We talk about it all the time. This is more. I come about this more from like an education perspective. I don't tell you guys to get rich. I don't tell you guys to gamble. I don't tell you guys to my rhetoric with my channel, with what I do. I'm a coach and teacher. It's not about the money side. It's about learning about your favorite sport, our favorite sport, and understanding that a lot of times the odds that come out, they don't know what they're not right. So that played in our favor. Also, sometimes the best bet is the one you don't make. There was another, a fight that I didn't bet on that she got upset. And I know you guys put it on a lot of your parlays. I didn't have action on it. Yeah, Chloe Watson. You didn't see Chloe Watson on any of my parlays. I didn't bet Chloe Watson. She didn't show up. So that's enough. When you look at our long parlay, the 10-legger that hit, and we started it with Renee Santiago, there were upsets here and there throughout the weekend. There were a couple draws. So I'm proud of the 10-legger because you see the 10-legger. Here's why I'm proud of the 10-legger. Okay. I want to talk about this real quick, just so you guys understand. Sometimes an element of picking winners and losers sometimes has to do with knowing who to avoid. You know what I'm saying? This 10-legger isn't just one card. This is a perfect example of knowing how to navigate the odds and knowing like if something looks suspect. Renee Santiago was on the Japanese card. Pedro Tattaron was on his own card in I think in California. Lauren Price was on her own card. Paulo Acosta, Callum Peters, Sam Goodman, Tim Tszyu were on the Australian card. and then the girls. So this 10-legger was an accumulation of 6 separate fight cards. So that 10-legger is an accumulation of 6 separate fight cards. So moving forward, guys, what I suggest when we have that much work to do, when we have that many fights to choose from, when we have as a busy weekend like we had this week and we're going to have this coming week, is look at the fight cards when you're doing your long parlay and, try to develop a keen eye on what fights to avoid. Because obviously the noticeable action is pick a winner. What fight should I pick? But sometimes you win by the fights you avoid, by not getting greedy. I said it, guys. I said it last week, this past week. This weekend was going to be what? All about us not getting greedy. I told you this. As we grow, maybe some of you guys have been clipping some of these talking points. I said this weekend, this coming weekend that is passing, which is wrapping up today with Zufa, was going to be about what? There's so much action. We're going to be big-eyed. It's going to be about not getting greedy, not adding that 5th leg when it should have been a 4th leg, not adding that 7th leg when it should have been a 6th leg. That's one. I also said, look at these matchmaking. There's going to be upsets. Have a look. Some of these odds are outrageous. And so all we can do is learn and move forward. So if you won one bet is more than 0. I know guys who never win. I have experience. And so on our team, we win. Last week, you guys acted like it was a funeral last week. We hit 2 out of 6 last week, 2 wins. You guys acted like a funeral. Ayrton Garcia wins this week. That'll be 4 tickets. In the weekends before, we were hitting 6 tickets, 7 tickets. Make what you will of it. I want you guys to educate yourselves, and this is truly a community. So that being said, we're about 12 minutes in. I know I think Troy fights here shortly on Zufa, because we need Troy Nash. So Troy fights in about 30 minutes. I'm going to stay on for a little bit longer. I do have a Zufa parlay that's live. You guys can check that out. Troy Nash versus Brian Rodriguez, Jorge Maravilla versus Elias Diaz, Robert Merriweather's fighting, Irvin Fuller versus Serda. Crazy A, my boy Crazy A is fighting. I love the odds in that. I think I might do a live Crazy A knockout bet. Have a Nishan. So he is 37 years old, but I think the matchmaking is perfect for his style. He's a Freddie Roach trained fighter, very fun guy. If you're an old head like me, you would know who Crazy A is. He's stepped up at the highest level, always kind of fallen short, but he has an action-packed, fan-friendly fight style, and he's fighting a guy that's been stopped multiple times, Eduardo Baez. The second Eduardo Baez takes a back step, I think Crazy A could turn back the clock. So I have Crazy A on the money line, and I'm thinking about playing a knockout prop. If I play Crazy A by knockout, I'll put it in the Discord. Okay? So, guys, as we're tapping in, we're approaching 15 minutes. We're floating between 50 and 70 JSB insiders in here. So, just like the video for me, I'm going to say what's up to everybody. All right, we got Alfonso, the boys, the squad. Hopefully the squad, we back up. Tell them to like the stream and stay locked in. My guy, Big Parlay. What's up, John? I love the Big Parlay, man. What a great name, considering this is what we're talking about. No Limit is a do not bet. Why, dude? What do you mean a do not bet? No Limit is easy money. I don't understand this. No Limit is a great card to bet on. I always win money on No Limit cards. I always win money on Top Rank cards. I always win money on Zufa. Well, we always win money. Why would No Limit be a no bet? I don't understand you guys having no bet lists, because you guys are people who I don't abide by the no bet thing, because the philosophy of having a no bet list is actually contradictory, because if you put a guy on a no bet list, why not just fade him or bet against him? Because the other side of a no bet is a sure bet. So I don't get that. I mean, No Limit. The A sides are always going to win, so just play the money lines. And this is what I was talking about. You can't get too greedy. I picked Tim Tszyu by knockout. He didn't get the knockout. One of my parlay, I did a prop, and that parlay didn't hit. But you then put Tim on a money line, which he's going to win, and he won. He dominated. So, and then Sam Goodman. What are you talking about? I told you guys, there's only a few definites in boxing. Life, death, taxes, Gabby Fundora by knockout, Sammy Goodman on points. How is that a no bet? Sammy Goodman fights on a no limit card, bet it by points. Tim Tszyu fights in Australia on a no limit card, go heavy on the money line always. Callum Peters, prospect, dude. All the A sides. I'm so confused. You could have just loaded up on the A sides. You know, there's fights to avoid. What didn't you see on my parlay? Did you? I didn't put Charlie Kazzy on my parlay. You know, I knew that fight was going to be close, so I didn't bet the Charlie Kazzy fight. If that's what you're referring to, so there is something to say with knowing which fights to avoid. The idea that I would have a no bet list though would just tell me that, you know, if you look deeper into the philosophy of no betting somebody, just bet against them. You know what I'm saying? So I get if somebody like you guys were, I'm speaking the truth because I used to have a no bet list on Figueroa. He was my no bet guy. And then after, you know, he turned it around for me, it kind of changed my opinion on that. You know what I'm saying? After he beat Ball, I was like, okay. So, you know, maybe you could still have a no bet list, but maybe look a little bit deeper on who's on it and why you would say that. Because if it's a fighter like an aging heavyweight, I would categorize a no bet list. You know, it's why I didn't put a lot of energy into the heavyweight fight this past weekend. I mean, it's entertainment. Do a dollar bet to stay tuned, but the fact that you would no bet no limit is crazy. No limit is always money for us, man. UK judges and refs stink. I don't like. Why are you marginalizing an entire part of the world? Who'd you lose on? Did you pick? I bet you this guy picked Andries Savidra. So Johnny, do you think Troy Nash is a real deal? I like Troy Nash. He's super young, man. I like. Look, because I'm a coach. I see potential in fighters. Troy Nash, you know, is kind of in. He should win this fight easily. By the way, Robert Merriweather. I need to see more of him. I hit on the Irma Garcia fight just because you mentioned it. See, this is what I'm talking about. And I'm going to screenshot this because Rudy watches my live streams. And just because I didn't give it as a bet doesn't mean that I'm not adding value. What did I tell you guys last week? If you want to offend me in the worst way, deduce what I do to just my bet slips. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's where I've gotten better is I have way more opinions than just what bets you see. So the guys who are joining my channel and subscribe monthly, I say thank you. But if you're doing that just to see my bet slips, I mean, you're selling yourself short because you would have missed a plus 420 like Rudy hit on because he heard me say it all week. The community is about the team. You know, it's about the chat. The slips, the bet slips are just an outcome of the time we speak together and what we're talking ourselves through. There was a live stream I did Thursday with Julius. He popped in for the live. We have like a 5-minute, maybe a 10-minute section of talking about Irma Garcia and the Mexican Latin American fighters coming to the UK and why noticing these patterns of behavior, these patterns. So, but I didn't put a ticket on it. But you guys, you know, Rudy heard us and shout out, man. I love hearing that because I didn't go Irma money line, but I woke up this morning with like 5 messages on the text messages in the Discord. Good hit, good hit, good hit, and it's just a signifier that we're growing in the right way. You know what I'm saying? Beautiful, Rudy. What do you think of? Yeah, I got Erickson Garcia on the money line. If Erickson wins, Erickson, I've heard it pronounced multiple different times. If he wins, that'll be our 4th or 5th ticket. Because I'm invested with the money line, I haven't thought about the outcome. I'll have a think about it. Frank, congrats, Irma, greatest cat. Appreciate you, man. Frankie B. Frankie Blue Eyes. Frankie Blue Eyes. I'm going to screenshot that too. You guys are too kind. Might take I like Magsayo. McCrory has been down 4 times. Yeah, guys, I like Magsayo. He could punch. He could punch, and McCrory is susceptible to the body. We've seen McCrory hurt to the body, and just because we see fighters not get knocked down, but he has been down, but he hasn't been stopped. I think Magsayo has the sort of power. You know, he's going to be the smaller and, you know, compact fighter inside of his range. There's some fun fights on Zufa. I think we're going to see an upset. I don't know if I have an upset plan. Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked if we see a couple upsets. Crazy A versus Eduardo Baez. I like Crazy A by knockout, man. I'm so tempted to play Crazy A. I'm gonna pull the odds up. I've been looking at this prop for about 3 days. And I was waiting to see how the MVP card was gonna pan out, and it panned out in our favor because all of our bets hit. So because of that, I got some money on the side. I'm thinking about going heavy on this prop. I know he's old. You guys told me Irma Garcia was old, right? 44 was old because you guys are going to tell me that Crazy A is 37, right? I don't rate Eduardo Baez. I'm sorry. All right, here we go. So Zat Havnishian, if you do your homework, if you know anything about Azat, this dude's style, man, super aggressive. The value here is already great on the money line, so I have Havnishian on the money line in a parlay. And Baez has been stopped multiple times. Man, that plus 205 is very tempting. So this is something if I were you, I'd look at this fight. You guys got about, I think, when's this fight go down? 2 hours? Yeah, you guys have 2 hours. So a fight that I would look at is the Havanesian fight. I like it by stoppage. Um, and then somebody brought up, let's check out Erickson Garcia. This fight versus Cortez. Somebody asked why was Cortez the dog here? I think Garcia is the tighter boxer in terms of technique. I think that his work is going to be a little bit more um, classier. It is I don't. I think the odds are fair here. And points at plus 130 is crazy work. I like that. Man. You know what? You guys want to do a Zufa parlay, a Zufa double? Let me do a Zufa double, boys. Rudy. Maybe a Zufa triple. Magzio by knockout, Garcia on points, and Crazy A by knockout. That'd be. Let's see what that pays. I don't want to get greedy though, right? Okay, let's see what this pays. Let's see. I do like Garcia on points, plus 230. So if Garcia is plus 230, and let's not get too greedy. Which one would you guys play? Have Venetian by knockout or Maxio by knockout? So if you take Garcia on points and Maxio by knockout, that pays plus 249. I might do it, boys. I might get crazy. I might do a triple. And then if you take that and add is a Crazy A by knockout, plus 966. I'm gonna play that. I'm gonna post it in the Discord for the boys. This one's for the. I love this shit. All right, I'm just putting it in right now because this is my public account. I can't be putting my password account on the live screen. People be taking my information. Dude, how great is this sport? So we go. I'm taking the knockout, man. We'll see. And then who did you say? Let's go, Maxio. What's the chat saying? I need to catch up with the boys. What's the chat saying? We do it for the juice, Johnny Magic Kush. Like the we do it for You know what? Then Magic Kush, I'm in. Because the juice is worth the juice is worth the squeeze. We do love plus money. About to hit my parlay with Zoo, Goodman, Akusa, Scotty. Yeah, King Jr. in the house. Ayrton Garcia and our Cortez are undefeated. Great value. Look at his last fight. Upset a prospect. The knowledge is worth more than the ticket. Appreciate you, E-Money. Man, we're growing as a squad, man. Comments like this, because you have no idea. This Man, we go through some growing pains on the channel, man. We've gone through some growing pains since August. So comments like this, man. Thank you, E Money. I appreciate it. Ooh, King of Fitness out here doing crazy work. I'm 9,000 from heavy single bet. Well, you're a king. The king's out here working. You got Erickson by knockout, not a bad move. Yeah, King. Shout out to King. King said King was on Wilder all week, and King said that's how it was gonna go. I didn't uh I wasn't invested in the fight just because of numbers. We for the right reasons. And you know, I'm glad your boy won, man. What's up, Power Kennel? If is Power Kennel talking about, we got two PJs. Are you talking about PJ 100? Or are you talking about PJ the promoter? Because are you trolling, man? This motherfucker out here trolling, boy. No limit is wild. Always A sides, David. No limit is crazy. No limit is what? Always A sides. It's crazy. A sides on the guys. No limit. Write this down. No limit is always feeder money. A sides on the main card. Those like early day card. Those prelims will be like blokes who fought each other in the amateurs. Um, yeah, but the main event, like the 4 or 5 fights, always load up on the A side. This comment, I'm sorry, because if this comment is hilarious, dude. I don't know if you're trolling or not. You're definitely trolling, right? Oh, okay. So this is my guy. Hell no. PJ 100 is sharp. You know what? If PJ the promoter is on this live stream, this is a testament to how much he's learning, because you guys don't know the history of JSB and PJ the promoter. He got banned before he got, I don't know if he got banned. He got it was early days of like he was trolling, and he was, but I think it was just he was learning. So if anything, in the 6 months he's been on our team, for you guys to call him a sharp man, that makes me feel great, because he's learning a lot, and it's a sign of what's happening in our group. The community is getting it. You know, that's the goal, man. The goal is obviously to win, but the goal is to win and take lessons. And sometimes you have to go through losses to learn. And that once again, boxing, gambling, philosophies on life. Everybody could be happy when they're winning. It's easy. You know, you don't find anything about yourself when you're winning. You find out everything about yourself when you're down. What you're made of, how willing you are to learn and to persevere. So there's a lot of, that's probably why we're all a connection, why everybody is you know, into what we're doing, is because there's so many life's parallels with what we do. Winning and losing, gambling, betting, you know. We're only as good as our last bet, whether you win or lose. Sometimes the best bet is the one you don't make. PJ Clowns, but yeah, he does. He does have good energy. PJ's a beast, man. It makes me it makes me happy that that we're talking about him. You know, he's come a long way. Um, I want to. I was okay, guys. Let's see what this adds up to, because I have my account right here. I might do this, or maybe I should. Maybe should we just do a prop of the card, or do you want to do a double? Because if I'm gonna do a prop of the card, here, you guys do what you want to do. Here's what I'm feeling. My prop of the card is Crazy A by knockout. So this is the one. I I might do this as a standalone. Now, if you want to create a bigger ticket, I also like Garcia, Erickson Garcia on points, which is plus 130. And then Maxio by knockout is $1.52. If you add all of those together, that's plus 900. You know, I told you guys all week, though, let's not get greedy. So I'm going to put a play in real quick, Crazy A by knockout. You guys on the live stream already have it. I'll post it in the Discord. All right, done. All right, I just went live with it, just so you guys know. Full transparency. I'm taking Havanesian by knockout at plus 205. You think you're Zufa? I hope it hits, man. I hope it hits, man. In full transparency, I put that Zufa card together. I put my Zufa ticket together last night. I had Easter dinner with my family. I mean, my girlfriend and I have been together. We're basically married. We just didn't get the courts involved. You know, she's my one. We've been together almost a decade. Love of my life. So when I go, I don't have family here. I'm here by myself. I moved. You know, all my family lives in Northeast Ohio. My aunts, uncles, sisters, nieces, nephews, my mom. I'm in Sydney, so when we do holidays, it's always with her family. So it's fun, but it can be exhausting. So I was watching the No Limit card on my phone, and then I get home and I was exhausted, and then I did about, just so you guys know, I did like a Cliff Notes version of film study for the Zufa card. You know, I don't know if they still have Cliff Notes, but when I was in high school and grade school, and I'm a nerd. I write like I publish books, so I read a lot, and I always would take English classes and literacy classes. And so back in the day, if my assignment was to read a novel and I would get tested on it, you could go to like the local bookstore and buy the Cliff Notes version. So if the novel is 1,000 pages, you could get the Cliff Notes version that's like 20 pages. It's all the talking points. And it's crazy how impactful those would be, because then I would take the test and I would do good, because the Cliff Notes version is like an expedited version, so you don't have to read the 1,000 pages. I did that version of film study last night. You know, I saw the fights. I watched. You know, I did the film I could. What usually takes me 10 hours to do all those fights, it took me like an hour and a half. So, you know, half unit on the Zufa parlay, guys. Half unit. Don't go full unit. Don't go heavy. I generally, over the last 3 months of my winnings, I go super heavy on my prop. Like the dog of the week, I usually go full heavy. My biggest bet was the Rene Garcia, uh, Rene Santiago prop bet, and then I did a full unit on Denzel Bentley and Vidal Rally. How about that was my biggest stressful. That was the biggest stress fight for me this weekend. That's why, like, I know everybody, you know, was hype about Deontay, and I'm happy he won, but I wasn't invested in the fight. And you know, the longer you're on my channel, you guys probably get a good inclination on who I'm most invested in throughout the fight week, and that should tell you who I'm betting heavy on. I'll give you my opinion, and I'll put certain fights on tickets, but I only had the Chisora fight on one ticket. But I was really emotionally invested because I was getting into debates. I was getting into debates on text messages and boxing forums about Denzel Bentley. And I was like, I know I'm not crazy, man. I was like, Andrei Savidra is not at his level. Savidra almost lost to a guy who just started boxing 3 years. Like I told you, in 2019, I was at Bondi Boxing Club. Shout out to Tony Del Vecchio. I was at Bondi Boxing Club when Matteo Tapia walks into the gym for a first time to box. And so Del Vecchio is such a good coach and such a good molder of talent. Within a few years, Matteo Tapia is a 16-0 pro fighting Andrei Zavidra, who is a talented amateur Venezuelan, I'm pretty sure. And Tapia had him rocked. My point is, Zavidra turns 36 this month, struggling with a guy who has no amateur background and no pro experience. Denzel Bentley does things really, does things really well. And if you had to like explain Bentley's style, his style is almost like a rope-a-dope. Because he almost creates this false sense of security for his opponents by turning his volume down and changing and controlling where the fight takes place. He uses the real estate really well in the ring to kind of like create the tempo of his fight. And then when he cuts the distance, it's almost like he takes his opponent by surprise with how clean his techniques are and how much power he has. And that was why I thought the Bentley, I was invested, because we have sharps. We have, I don't know what you would call, we have guys who bet like 20, 30, $40,000 in our in our Discord. And so 3 months ago, because that fight was supposed to happen at the end of December, Savitra versus Bentley, I was getting messages about like, load up. Are you loading up on injuries? Go heavy on them. And when and the boys, I get messages like that every couple weeks. And like 90% of the time I agree with what they're saying. But that was one of those times where I just wasn't seeing it. And so because I wasn't agreeing with them, they don't like that. Because I wasn't agreeing with them. And granted, all these guys everybody is anonymous. That's another thing. You guys get to see, and if you message me, you're getting a voice message from me. So you're not. I'm not only not anonymous. You can find me on I'll talk to you like we know each other. That's kind of like how my personality. So I'm telling the guys, bro, I just don't see it. I'm like, I don't think Savidra's gonna do it. And then they're texting me back, dude, what the hell, man? What? Are you serious? Dude, Bentley. So anyway, that was the fight I was super invested in. And once that came through, even though we still had the Chisora fight and the no limit card, I was just like this the rest of the weekend, like, I was like, we got one. Every weekend, there's that one fight where it's like all the tension and stress and credibility. At least the fake stuff I create in my head. Every week there's that fight. That was my fight this week. Like, go through the weeks that just were, like when we took, Barbosa Jr. versus, Kenny Sims. The Glanton points loss against Jai, taking Jai on point. Every week we have that. Maybe I'll call it something so you guys could know. So because I think as we're growing, one of the benefits is being more transparent. But there's one fight usually every weekend for me. It's like, I'm thinking about it before I go to bed. That was the Bentley Savitra fight. That's facts. I went through a big loss. Andy Cruz, Java was super heavy. Larry Davis heavy on them now. I'm on a hit. Larry Davis. Hold on. How did Larry Davis go from our Discord to the live stream? You're not Larry Davis King, are you? Oh, okay. Like how Larry Davis bet. Larry Davis in our Discord bet. What did he bet? 5,000 on Shane Mosley Jr. to win his last fight. And we're like, what? And then Larry Davis bet 5,000 on, I don't know. I can't believe we're talking about Larry Davis on our live stream. When I started betting, you learn way more from 100%. Strategy King. That's what allows us to win every week. Some weeks we win 5, 6 tickets. Some weeks we win 2 tickets. We have never been shut out. Since we started this game together in August, we have never been shut out. We have never not had one week to where we won. So it's about the strategy. Like, for instance, the long parlay this week we just hit. 3 months ago, that probably would have been a 14-legger, which would have got busted because of a draw. Like, 3 months ago, I guarantee this is the adjustments I made. Just go look at the receipts. That long parlay, the 10 legs, would have been a 16-legger, and it would have got busted by probably Kazi, who drew, or one of the other fights who lost because we got greedy. The adjustments I've made is like, all right, why add $1.04? Why add $2.06 on a long parlay when it so it's always, we're always learning. Everybody's always learning. Even if you add him on the money line, it's a good 3-legger. Okay. The Zufa. Guys, there's money on that Zufa card. Look, if you guys are down, don't chase, though. This is something, because we have a lot of fights this coming week. If you guys are looking at the Zufa, and you got to understand, these Zufa cards have been chaos. We have seen upsets. Every week we've seen upsets on the Zufa cards. So, like, if you guys are up and you have money to play with, you can take more risks. It's always, like, I'm up right now. So I could take more psychologically and financially. it's I would say only take those risks when you're up. Don't take those risks when you're down and you're chasing. That's going to put you in a bad spot. So if you're down right now and you're chasing, I wouldn't bet the Zufa card. I'm just being honest with you guys. Sometimes you have to come to my channel for some tough love. And I know not everybody likes to hear it, but don't chase. If you got screwed by a draw, if you got screwed by a method of victory, if you got screwed by an upset this week, or you something didn't go your way and you're down, take the day off. Because it's better to take the day off and walk away than it is to chase and you're just putting yourself in this hole again. Remember, the best bet you guys can make is the one that you don't make. Keep that in mind. What's up, Rex? I bet either fighter get knocked down. Beautiful. My man's up. PJ. That was crazy. I don't know how Deontay is just too crazy for me. And I like crazy. You guys know none of us are normal here. Everybody part of our squad, we're all a little bit crazy, right? In a one way or the other. Deontay might be, for me, which is saying a lot, a bit too crazy for me, man. Like, I don't know, dude. He is. My favorite part of the fight is that clip that's gone viral when Chisora throws that haymaker and it looks like it lands and Deontay just ate it. And Deontay goes on the ropes and then he turns Chisora and he's now Chisora. You've seen it. It's the main one that went viral. And Deontay's head is headbutting Chisora and he's doing it in such a primal way. He's doing it. And I remember telling myself, oh shit, he's mean again. I was like, I thought that disappeared. Like that head pressure, and he's growling at him, dude. I was like, oh shit. Deontay, he's mean again. I was like, I thought all that left. I didn't like there was no hesitation. There was no he must have felt zero threat. That was entertaining. If you just watched that fight and didn't call it boxing, like Deontay Wilder versus Chisora was not a boxing match. That was an entertainment show, spectacle of two 40-year-old plus out of their prime athletes fighting. They were fighting. They weren't really boxing. Yeah, it was. I'm glad you said this. It was like you rewatch Chisora and Wilder, but don't watch it and don't frame it as a boxing match. Watch it as like if that thing aired and was marketed and tied with a bow on like a straight like Netflix as not boxing, like that shit was fucking entertaining, dude. I know. I was talking. I thought Wilder had zero chance, dude. I thought Wilder had zero chance, dude. So you normally say when you're gonna go heavier. No, I don't. I don't say it. People have been asking more and more. So I'm trying to give you more than anything, guys. If you ask me, I'll answer, right? I get excited about technique and strategy of anything. One of the elements of my coaching here in Sydney is I coach people who have never fought. I teach them the fundamentals and basics of how to box, which is a martial art. It's so technical, and that's why I love it. I love teaching somebody who's never thrown a punch before how to properly throw a cross. I love teaching them footwork, how to glide in and out. I love teaching them the jab, the minutia of the sport. So with that being said, it's the same with betting. There's strategy and technique of betting. So if you ask me, I'll answer. To be transparent, so you know, I'll never go too heavy on anything with over like 3 legs. And, because I do what I do, there's so many fights. I have to be careful that I don't go too heavy too often too. nobody's 100% right. You know what I mean? I have to take care of my bankroll. I have to take care of my home. I have to keep these motherfucking lights on. You know what I'm saying? So I have to have strategies too. It's important to have strategies. It's what I meant about don't chasing. If you're down, don't chase. Don't chase today. You know what I'm saying? Because we'll wake up tomorrow and all of us will talk about today's card, what's happening right now, but all of our brain focus will be what's in front of us anyway. So if you're down right now, just don't bet and just wait till tomorrow, and then we got all those fights coming up. Johnny, hello. I'm not because I second guess everything. I'd be up 10x if I. Oh, Ishi, man, you've been here for a while. I've seen you on my live streams for a while, so I appreciate your support. What's up, Rex? What's the move? I'm going crazy. A knockout. Garcia. All right. Good luck, Rex. Let's go. Let's get this. Let's get this. Let's get this. All right. I see some insiders in here. I see the JSB squad popping through. Wilder versus AJ fights Fury. Is that announced? I think this. I think Wilder. Get Wilder on some. This is gonna sound controversial, and it's supposed to be a joke. Take this next statement tongue in cheek, but let's get all the old boys. Like let AJ and Wilder and Fury get them on some hormones. Get them on some peptides. Let the boys get healthy. They're all in their late 30s, early 40s. Let's get those boys healthy, strong, and let's see some fights. Because I thought Wilder's mind was. I thought Wilder, that mean streak was fractured. But there's, granted he didn't go in for the kill, and granted he said he showed. What's the word? Not empathy, not sympathy. It's like the scene in Gladiator when Maximus had the opportunity to kill in the one-on-one fight the big undefeated brute, and he had and everybody saying kill, kill, kill to Maximus, Russell Crowe's character, and he didn't do it. He wanted to sort of like defy what the emperor, what Caesar was telling him to do. So rather than like being their puppet and chopping the dude's head off, he let him live. And one of the politician senators turns to Joaquin Phoenix's Joaquin, whatever, his character, Commodus, and he says, see, the people will love him now because he showed not humility, he spared him. So Deontay said that he spared Chisora. And I'm not going to sit here and call him a liar, but he fought with aggression that I haven't seen. He was fighting. There were some moments where he was growling. Yeah. I'm glad you brought this up. Marlon Cepales, thank God you guys didn't get him. Some of you guys weren't able to bet the Marlon Cepales fight. He was a 9-1 favorite and lost to a 37-year-old. Been stopped 5 times. Marlon Cepales started our week off with a sour note. But then, just like I always say, we are only as good as our last bet. Renee Santiago came through with us in a really, really incredible way by not only winning, but winning on points. So we had Marlon on a safety net parlay that got dusted. But then Renee, on a full bet on my end, tripled us. So it really is this. What you guys should also do if you're learning the strategy of betting and whatever your bankroll is, I suggest not to bet the same amount every ticket. Because if you really want to make money and consistently win, you would learn the strategy of knowing when to pull the trigger and when not to. Sometimes intuition's a real thing. Sometimes you just have this, hey man, I'm going heavy on this one fight. And sometimes you're like, you know what? I like these fighters, but I'm just going to sprinkle a little something on it. I highly suggest developing that skill because that is a skill all in itself. What's up, high interest? Bro, they tried to cheat Wilder. Wilder was never. Yeah, that was crazy. Dude, there was a lot of shit going on. That was a lot of shit. That was a whole event. Guys, we're about 50 minutes in. We got the Zufa card that started 5 minutes ago. We're floating between 60 and 80 in this live stream. Could you like this video? This is my Monday morning. I might go live after the Zufa. I can't make any promises. I have to run. I have a 10K scheduled. So I don't have clients today because it's a holiday long weekend, but I'm going to run a 10K. I'm going to watch the Zufa. Let's get this, boys. I appreciate all the support, guys. Where every month is better than the last. And if you guys have hung in with me, if you guys stuck by my side since August, man, our bond has never been stronger. And if you're new to the squad, we all welcome you. Guys, if you're a JSB Insider and you're not in the Discord link is in the members only section. And if you guys are a Patreon and you're not in the Discord, you need to message me. What's up, Non-Ever? This sounds crazy, but I could see it happening. Who would you take in that fight? Who would you take in that fight? What's up, Self-Made? There you go. Self-Made knows what time it is. Yeah, but everybody has their own style, man. You know, you guys have seen in the various Discords that you guys are in. How about those boys who bet 50,000 to win 5,000? You know, and everybody has, or the boys who bet, like, I know we got some guys in our Discord who will bet 1,000 on like an 8-leg parlay. That takes some nuts, dude. Boy, shout out to who's our guy in the Discord who's a savage. He's been on our squad for about a month or so. I don't want to look because I want my brain to work. But he will post, and he wins. He will post like an 8-leg parlay, 1,000 to win 13,000. I'm like, God dang. I don't got the nuts to do that. I'll bet 1,000 to win like 2,300 on one play, which that's just my style. We all have our own style. So don't, like, it's another thing. The longer you're in the game, everybody does things their own way. There's no right way. There's no wrong way. Let people live. Let them do what they do. If you're winning with whatever strategy you're doing, keep winning, man. You know, and there's always going to be losses. I think more than anything, you want to learn your own strategy. You want to learn the game. We're in school right now. We're all in school right now. We're all learning the game. The game is the strategy of betting and how to win consistently. That's the game. I think that, you know, if you're it's not about getting the expectation of wealth when you're putting it in the hands of a potential outcome of two athletes you've never met that you don't have control over. That rhetoric could lead to a lot of dark times mentally if that's how you're framing this. But if you frame it like an education tool, or like a side hustle, or like something that the average person doesn't know, like you're at the shops and you just withdrew $1,500 and just paid all these bills because you just hit a 4-legger, and you're at the market now and you're buying like dinner to cook for your girl or dinner to cook for yourself or your family. You know something no one else knows. You know what I'm saying? So it's just it really comes down to creating a healthy relationship with what we do. That's all I'm saying. The goal should be developing and creating a healthy relationship with this, not some fucking impulsive ass, like, fiend, tricking, microwave culture. We about to get it. Like, motherfucker, because the minute you think there's a lock, boy, someone could get knocked out. And then you out here salty, all sad, being mean to your people, depressed, drinking. I'm literally describing how I used to live when I lived in Vegas. I was going through like the checklist of like when I was in my late 20s living in Vegas, being a degenerate gambling on blackjack. We need a fundraiser. Timmy Zoo, man. I don't know, man. I think people are piling up on him. But guys, man, and I lost money. I'm not gonna pile up on him. He still fought an undefeated Albanian who had never lost. I just felt like, I don't know. I don't know about Timmy. I'm not going to hate on it. He won. Dominant. He won, but he didn't knock the guy out. Boxing's a tough sport. We're so fucking fickle. half the media is calling him a punk. The other half is saying he's back. That's the thing. I'm not saying either. But down here in Australia, you read the newspapers, they're saying he's back, baby. And then you read the American sites are like, Timmy's hooked done, he's shot. I'm like, I think the truth is always going to be somewhere in between. You know? And I'm not going to lie to you. Johnny, who were you a bigger fan of in their prime? Tim Tszyu or Errol Spence Jr.? Well, without a doubt, 100% Errol Spence Jr. Probably my favorite fighter of that era. But that being said, Johnny, would you pick Errol Spence Jr. right now to beat Tim? I don't know, man. I don't know, dude. That's the next fight I've been stressing. Like, I told you guys when in July of 2023, I've said this story before on the show. When Terrence beat EJ, I started stressing out because I knew that Crawford wanted to fight Canelo. Because a week later, maybe 4 days later, you can check these, I think August 2nd, maybe July 31st, he goes on Joe Rogan's podcast and he said it that was the first time. And Rogan's like, you mean at 160? He goes, no, 168. And then I knew, I was like, oh shit, he's gonna make this happen. That means that in the near future, I'm gonna have to do a breakdown and prediction of Bud Crawford versus Canelo. That's just stressed me out. I was like, fuck. So that's how I kind of feel like Errol Spence Jr. versus Tszyu. I mean, there's no titles on the line, but this is going to be one of those fights where we're going to be divided. Going into the EJ versus Bud fight, I was a massive Errol fan, and I probably had respected Bud more than any fighter, and I took Bud to win. I didn't know he'd be that dominant. Going into this fight, I'm obviously a big Errol Spence fan. I just like the style, the southpaw, marauding when he was on coming up to from the amateurs, a dog fight, just a dog. That style speaks to a lot of people. But I don't know if I would pick EJ to beat Tim. Not right now. We haven't seen him fighting forever, and he did not look good. So I don't know. We'll see. We have a lot to talk about, guys. Guys, let's like this video. Come on, man. Like my video. Appreciate the advice so much, but also life lessons. Yeah, man. I think that's what this is why I do this. You guys are like my third group of clients, by the way. I have people who pay to see me in person, which I help. I have people who I teach. I have clients who pay me online, which I help. And then I have the JSB community. So it's the way this is who I am. I know gamblers don't like it because people talk shit about me online. We don't want to hear you talking about philosophy. We just want to hear about bets. Well, show yourself the door, you degenerate. If you don't like what I'm talking about, if I don't, get the hell out of here, boys. We're not asking you to stay. Tapping in. Depth, my guy. The boys are here. What do you think of Jeannie Dog against Richard Rackpo? We'll get into that. I had my eyes on it. I'm gonna wrap this up. Troy fighting. All right, I gotta wrap this up. Troy's fighting. Is Troy winning? Oh my God, the chat's going crazy. Chat's going crazy. You guys are beasts.